Hello everybody, and welcome back to 5 Minute Crypto, the channel where we cover the most important crypto news in just 5 minutes, back again with another crypto update. And today's update is definitely not going to be 5 minutes, it's just talking about the exact situation in front of you, which is Morgan Stanley buying over 28,000 shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Really big deal, really nice to see, and it basically comes to the conclusion that banks are getting into crypto. You might say Dusty or 5 Minute Crypto Channel guy, I'm not sure what you're going to call me on this one. We knew that already. We knew that banks were getting into it. But did you know that they are really buying it themselves? It's kind of crazy, huh? It really kind of is to me. Morgan Stanley, Wall Street's mega investment bank, has gained exposure to Bitcoin by buying 28.3 thousand shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust through its Europe Opportunity Fund, according to the US SEC. So how did they get exposure to this? Well, through the Morgan Stanley Europe Opportunity Fund. The fund is designed to seek maximum capital appreciation by investing in assets that the investment team believes are undervalued at the time of purchase. The fund allows the investment bank to invest in established and emerging companies throughout Europe. The fund invested in GBC is to the tune of 28.3 thousand as of April 30th, according to a June 28th filing with the SEC. Now, one fun thing is that they are calling that they will invest in things which are undervalued at the time of purchase. Again, this is coming from the Morgan Stanley European Opportunity Fund. It's kind of funny because if they bought it on April 30th, they definitely lost money as of this point. So theoretically speaking, it was overvalued. But the fact that they buy Bitcoin on a high like that and then call it undervalued, that says something good coming from a bank, right? Again, mind you that banks and Bitcoin don't really go together too much. So whenever I read this type of stuff, I just get excited because I know the banks know that they cannot ignore it anymore. Now, at the current price of about 29.25 per GBTC share, Morgan Stanley's exposure is worth about $828,000, which was worth $1.3 million at the end of April. And this shows the banking giant is increasing its activity in the crypto space to meet increasing demand from its clients because they just have to. They have to. First of all, they have to keep up with the current times. You really can stay behind in the background or adapt, and they've chosen the adapt stance, but also you have to keep increasing your exposure yourself to be able to provide this type of stuff to others. If you're not exposed yourself, your stock price is eventually going to fall, and some of your clients are going to move over because you're not being progressive enough. And these people are buying through banks already for a long time, and them not having exposure, I think they know was a big waste. Now, funny how Dimon is keeping his kind of stance up of being against Bitcoin himself. I already have placed a bet with myself, not with anybody because I don't really gamble like that. But I've already placed a bet that I think Dimon will eventually switch over his mind, switch his thought process and be like, yeah, Bitcoin has longevity. The reason I'm saying that is because he's always said, I wouldn't buy it, I wouldn't really be into it, I wouldn't, recommend it. He's not a guy who says Bitcoin is complete shit, Bitcoin is so extremely bad, Bitcoin, you should never get into it. He's not like a Warren Buffett type of guy. Guys like Peter Schiff, Warren Buffett, they might never come to terms with it because, first of all, pretty old, might actually, what might happen in the meantime. That's one thing. But also, of course, again, my own opinion, the fact that they are going to try always stay bears, and whenever things crash, say, I told you so. Because they know as well as we do, a lot of things crash at one point or another. Might not be forever, but if Bitcoin ever goes down to $1,000 again, those guys are going to be, kind of rubbing their palms a little bit, be happy because they were quote-unquote right. Even though we might see $5 million per Bitcoin afterwards, they can always say they knew it was going to crash and that it came up. Okay, that's the thing, but at least in that moment, they were right, and that's the fun part about being a bear. You can always be right at one point or another because when exactly does the speculation end, right? If you always keep up that Bitcoin is eventually going to crash, you can keep that up to the point you die and still not have been proven wrong. It's only if you say Bitcoin is going to go to the moon and it actually literally dies out or becomes regulated to crap that you can actually be wrong and literally be proven wrong. But if you ever say it's going to crash and it never does, well, what is never, right? Because it's forever lasting. But yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you guys again in another one. It was actually 5 minutes. Holy smokes, that's crazy.